government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones. He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
You know, I have this problem a lot with the guests we have up here. People like Willie Nelson and Charlie Sheen and senators, presidents. How do you go through their whole bio and tell people about who you've got on and really do him justice? I know he didn't want to hear about himself, but Russell Means is helping to lead the charge for the Lakota Nations. Tens of millions of acres, more than 4 states. It's definitely their land. I think it should be completely given back to them. The U.S. doesn't even exist anymore. It's total New World Order run. So that debate doesn't even matter. And we need to go the opposite direction of globalization and world government. We need to have areas we can run to that have some liberty. And the Native Americans don't have a right to this. Nobody does. He is a well-known actor from Last of the Mohicans, one of my favorite movies, and just so many other films. He's grew up on the Pine Ridge Reservation. He's probably one of the, if not the best-known activists for Native American rights. And we went over his bio. We'd be here all day. You can go to some of their websites and check that out. He'll be listing those. But the main reason he's on is because they're moving for independence. They have their independence, and this is serious, and this is real. And he goes over in a video up on YouTube, very eloquent. I mean, in the 70s alone, 40+% of Native American women on reservations were sterilized. That's declassified. George Bush Sr. ran that op. They've been exterminating them for hundreds of years, and the globalists are doing it to us, too. And I just want to commend you for all your work and for trying to save your people, who are my people. We're all just human beings from the same planet here, all the same blood. And I just love what you're doing, and I support you.
Thank you very much. Great to be on.
You don't want to talk about yourself, but for those that don't know who you are, if they saw you, they'd recognize you from all the movies and television and the rest of it. Tell folks in a nutshell about your life, encapsulate it, then we'll get into your greatest mission, trying to have sovereignty for the Lakota people.
Well, first, I gained my infamy as an activist with the American Indian Movement, which, by the way, was founded in the Twin Cities back in 1969. But after the activism, I, of course, went into politics. I ran for the presidential nomination, the nomination for President of the United States on the Libertarian Party ticket in 1988. I ran for governor in New Mexico in 2002. And 3 times I've run for tribal president. And in each instance, and I even went to the Supreme Court to prove it, I was cheated. But nevertheless, I then entered into the art world, first with movies, then with music, and then with oil paintings, and now I'm getting into sculptures. But I'm putting that all aside because right now we have reestablished our nation legally and lawfully, and according to international law. We have followed all the protocols that are necessary to reestablish and withdraw from our treaties with the United States, like I said, unilaterally, and to not only withdraw from the treaties, but all agreements with the United States of America. And the statistics of our deprivation are horrible. Some of the worst in the world, like our life expectancy for a male Lakota is less than 44 years of age, the lowest in all of the world.
Well, let's just boil it down. You have been under continual total war, siege, and I want to get into your deprivation, but you ended that talk on video talking about the private Federal Reserve and kind of a jab at the New World Order. So I take from that you understand the true nature of the globe. Can you give us your view on the global crime syndicate?
Well, the global crime syndicate, of course, are the bankers of the world. They're the ones who have taken the precious metals from behind the currencies of the world so that they turn it into the currencies into commodities that can be bought and sold in wholesale units. First you had the Trilateral Commission, and now that was even too small for them, so they enlarged to the New World Order, which is the ultimate act of imperialism, to have one world order, a la George Orwell, and to control all the world's natural resources.
And put us all, literally, if you look at the grid they're building, it's literally putting everyone in compact city control grids, as the Pentagon calls it, literal reservations, the same way they've exterminated your people.
Well, exactly. And, you know, Indian policy has been U.S. policy from day one. You know, the family farmer and the family rancher, they're the new Indians of the 21st century. They're in the way of progress, which is right-wing socialism. In other words, corporate ownership of the land and agriculture. Yes. And so consequently, they're the new Indians. They're being eradicated as we speak from the land. You have your health system, especially in the United States, which is directly taken from the policies of the American Indian on the reservation. Your HMOs, your poor health return, the total ignorance.
It's a cover for eugenics. It's a cover.
And the poisoning of your body with the drugs.
Yes.
The other thing is education. They perfected dumbing down the individual on the reservation, then exported it to the rest of the United States. So your federal schools are just exactly that purpose, is to dumb down America, which would mean that people are more easily controlled. Just like you get the individuals off of the land, the farmers and the ranchers off the land, into the cities, where you're more easily controlled.
Let me stop you, sir. This is so incredible. I should have gotten you on before to talk to you. Everything you're saying is 100% from the documents. Obviously, you know this, but for listeners that don't, can you expand on this point? I studied eugenics. It came out of England and Germany. By 150 years ago, they employed it first against natives, and literally to use the health care as the front to poison, sterilize, kill you. Now they're doing it to everyone. Absolutely, this is their control grid.
Oh, definitely. And like I say, study Indian policy, you realize that when Hitler wrote about it in the 1920s, Hitler wrote and put it down that America has the best idea for getting the unwanted races, the unwashed races of people, and putting them and selecting them and putting them away into concentration camps.
Yes, Mein Kampf.
That's exactly what he did.
In fact, Hitler loved reading about the West, and all he talked about was doing the same. Exactly. I'd even forgotten about that.
Yeah. The Apartheid Act, the Bantu Development Act, which institutionalized apartheid in South Africa, was a direct copy of the Indian Reorganization Act, which was passed 30 years before apartheid. So the two regimes that used the role model United States of America are now history, but yet they're part of the banking cartel. And you know, it is shameful that American people have been dumbed down so much that they don't even understand what's going on in a republic that is supposed to guarantee your individualized freedom, and yet you only have, in reality, one party, but they give you a facade of two parties. It's impossible to guarantee individual liberty with a two-party system. It's impossible.
I have to say this right now. I have to say this right now.
And mob rule in the United States of America, if it doesn't satisfy the ruling elite, like in 2000, they will disregard mob rule and institute their own king, King George.
Russell Means, I have to tell the listeners who just tuned in, you are the main leader of the Lakotas, according to every demographic and group we look at. And I've interviewed quite a few of the other leaders that are supporting you, but I have to say this, talking to you in person, and I don't just say this lightly, I believe you are the leader. I believe the spirit I feel, the intellect I hear, everything I see. I totally support you, and I think everybody should support you. You are the leader. I'm going to say right now that I believe that you are doing the right thing and that you can do this. If the people get behind you, you have done it. You've internationally pulled out. How do we support you?
Well, first of all, support just the way we're doing it, on the internet and on the radio waves, because the corporate media is not going to pay any attention to this. Neither are the politicians. But here's the good part about it. As long as the United States is so racist, so anti-Indian, they are ignoring us. While they are ignoring us, we're reforming our foundation of freedom and strengthening it every day.